You don't need a girlfriend, and I'm going to explain why. And before you watch the rest of this video, I want you guys to ask yourselves these two things, because if you answer yes to these two things, this video is not for you. Number one, can you protect yourself? And number two, can you provide for yourself and others? These are the two things that are expected from men, regardless of what country you're from, regardless of what culture you come from, regardless of how long ago you lived. It was always this way. Men were always expected to protect and provide for their families and for their loved ones. Now, you'll see why I asked those questions in a second when I get into my first point. So let's get right into it. Can you protect yourself? So the reason I asked this question, can you protect yourself, is pretty obvious. Because if you can't protect yourself, how are you going to protect your girl? How are you going to protect your kids if you have kids one day with that girl? So obviously it's a very important thing to be able to protect yourself as a man. Because as a man, you are responsible of taking care of any threat that comes your way. So if any man or if any entity comes your way and tries to harm you or your family, then guess who's in charge? Guess who's responsible? When war breaks down and they start a draft in America. Now, before anybody, goes crazy conspiracy, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just using it as an example. But if that were to happen, do you think it's the women that are going to get called out there to go fight? Or do you think it's the men? Okay? If you don't know how to protect yourself, then you're not even going to be ready to go out into a war and go fight for your country or other people. It's very, very important as a man that you know your own capabilities against other men. And you know your own personal capabilities because it makes you more confident in yourself. Do not go looking for fights. That's just a quick little disclaimer. The reason you do not want to go looking for fights is because it makes you look weak. It makes you look weak because anybody who has to go looking for a fight is trying to prove something. Either that or they're just an a-hole. So do not go looking for fights. I started boxing back in 2019 and I kept going until 2022. And then after that, I did other martial arts and I'm still training to this day. As you can see, I have all this equipment behind me. However, once I got into training and got a couple months of experience, I realized quickly that there are killers out there that you do not want to mess with. And you don't know who you're messing with. Now, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the smallest guy. I'm 155 pounds and I'm 5'8". But I know what I'm capable of and I know not to mess with people because you don't know what people are capable of. And the last thing you want to do is get beat up right in front of your girl. I'm just saying. So learn how to protect yourself. Learn how to fight. As a man, it's important. A quick little analogy I'm going to use from boxing really quick to make my point here. My boxing coach would never ever send me into a fight that I was not ready for, which means we were doing extensive training at least 4 or 5 times a week. And we were doing it for 2 hours and we were going hard and we were sweating our asses off. We were training hard, working hard, and we made sure that we were in good shape and we were in good health before we went into that fight, and we knew that we were going to protect ourselves at all times and do what we're supposed to do. You do not go into a fight unless you've sparred hard, unless you've had a lot of training and you're ready to fight. And if you have to ask if you're ready to fight, you're not ready to fight. So just a quick little point out there. If you're not battle tested, if you're not battle ready, then you're not ready for a girl. Now let's get into point number 2. Can you provide? And guys, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about value. I'm talking about, can you provide personality? Can you provide strength? Can you provide emotional strength? Can you provide money, obviously? These are all things that you're going to have to provide if you want a long-lasting relationship with a woman to work out. So if you don't have these things in line, then you are not ready to have a girl, and therefore you don't need one. And I'm mainly speaking to a lot of you younger guys out there. There's a lot of you younger guys out there that, understandably so, you go to school with girls, you want to talk to them. A lot of them are pretty, I understand. But here's the thing, man. If you get into something like that too soon, you're not going to be ready for what you're stepping into. And you might end up like me. And I've been with my girl for a long time. And that's why I could speak to you guys about this. I could speak from experience. And it's not at all because the relationship that I have with my woman is bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you guys may not get as lucky as me. I met my girl when I was 15 years old. I met her when I was 15 years old. And I'm still with her to this day, and I'm 23. The only thing I could say is, if I had myself a little more established, and I don't just mean money like I said before, I mean mentally, physically, everything, then I just would have been more battle tested. I would have been more ready for something like this. But life takes you in all sorts of directions, and I truly believe that God has a purpose for everyone. I truly believe that I'm going to connect with some of you viewers out there because I know there are younger me's out there everywhere. And believe me, guys, I struggled a lot. But if you work on these two things before you even think about getting a girl, then I promise you, you're going to save yourselves a lot of struggle, a lot of heartache, a lot of time. So please, please take these things into consideration, guys. If you like content like this and you want to see more of it, ask questions down in the comments. And like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Peace.